But the Pacific Northwest is a place that is near and dear to my heart.
It is.
I went to the University of Washington, along with the University of Georgia. By the way, guys, I didn't change universities. I actually finished every place I went. But I have I love the state of Oregon. And by the way, since we love the state of Oregon, why don't you introduce our Oregonian?
We are heading there right now. Jana Jarvis is joining us. Jana is the president and CEO of the Oregon Trucking Association. Jana, good morning and welcome. And thanks for getting up early. I know it's a little early out there.
It's early.
Good morning, Dave. Yes, it is a little early, so hopefully my brain will work.
85 tax forms on the wall. 85 tax forms on the wall. Take one down and fill it out. 84 tax. That was a joke, but it's based on truth because it's funny because it's true, as Homer Simpson would say. We're talking about some good news lately for trucking vis-a-vis the federal government and some things that have been going on here lately. Something really good has happened up there in the state of Oregon, too, in terms of how taxes are being accumulated, and that 85 is a significant number that I'll let you explain. So just jump in and where you want and kind of pull us along with you here, because it's a little complicated, but at the same time, it's kind of simple too. Is that a kind of a place to start?
Sure. Yeah, it is a little complicated. Oregon is the only state in the nation that still relies on the weight mile tax that was instituted in the 1930s. All the other states moved away from weight mile taxes in the 80s and 90s, but Oregon didn't. And not only we have 87 different tax rates, and it's very complicated, very expensive to administer, both for the state and for the carrier. And we have been trying to change that for the last 2 or 3 decades. And so this year, with our transportation package that was supposed to pass, I got language inserted in it that would move us away from the weight mile tax as it is today and move us into a diesel tax. And I don't think we can raise quite enough money to meet our obligation with the diesel tax, so we were going to do a supplemental simplified weight mile tax with only 10 different rates. So it was a great piece of legislation, but unfortunately, it all blew up on the last day of session, and session ended without any transportation package. A couple of weeks. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say something here to our non-trucking listeners, and we have a lot of folks who have been with us for a long time, not truckers. When you said, well, we've been working on this for 2 or 3, they would have immediately filled in the blank and said 2 or 3 years. You said 2 or 3 decades. We've been talking about that in other areas. Yeah, when trucking has a problem, it's not a yearly, it doesn't take a year to fix it. It takes a decade or more to fix it. So anyway, that being said, there's that bit of frustration there. So what's going to happen now? I mean, is it back to the actual starting point, back to the drawing board here?
Well, a couple of weeks after our session ended, our governor announced that we would have a special session on August 29th, and that we were just going to institute a 6-cent gas tax. She was going to keep a very simplified plan, because ODOT was going to have to lay off about 500 of their employees if they didn't get some kind of additional revenue. And so as she was moving this through the process, people started wanting their pieces put into the bill. And of course, I worked on that as well. And so you asked me what was special about last week. Last week, I got the governor to agree to put our language in the bill that will modernize our taxing system that I had in the original transportation package this year. So we're very excited about that.
So basically, it all looked good, and then it all looked like it was destroyed, and then you were able to pick up the pieces, get with the governor, and it's all, as far as trucking is concerned, it's all good again.
Well, it is, but it still has to pass. We have
Ah,
to show up. Everybody has to show up, and we have to get the votes. Democrats have the 2/3 majority that they need so they could pass it on their own. But the governor is certainly hoping that some of the Republicans will support this package as well. And this is kind of turning into a campaign issue. A lot of the Republicans are saying, we're trying to raise taxes when everybody is struggling. And so I think this will be part of their campaign next year when they're rerunning for office.
Yes, so trucking is going to be in sort of a unique position then. And we don't really get into politics on the show here, Jana, as you well understand. But this is politics does happen, and we all live with it, whether we like to or not. So trucking is going to be in a kind of a unique position in this next race, then it seems.
I think so. Yes. Yeah. There's politics in everything. We always talk about we don't like politics, but it's in everything in your life. So there certainly is politics in this as well. But
I mean, the fact that human beings are relating, Jana, means there's going to be politics involved. I'll let Dave get you the next question. I want to give people a quick reminder that Jana Jarvis is the president and CEO of the Oregon Trucking Association. You can find them at ortrucking.org. You can find them on the Book of Face at ortrucking.org. And you can find them on the gram of Insta at ortrucking. It's really simple and clean and nicely done. Dave, go ahead. Continue.
Yes. It's interesting, too, that in terms of the vehicle miles tax, the VMT, Oregon was the first state to put the little stickers, I guess, on the cars that you scan those to get your tax rates going. And a lot of states have tried that and failed. Oregon keeps that going. That is an issue, but you almost have to ask now in terms of anything with wheels and that's being taxed. Where are electric vehicles in this mix in terms of paying their share? I guess is the way to put that. And is there a holdback or any pushback about electric vehicles on the tax issue and on the environmental issue, because that's always linked now?
You're exactly right about there being issues with it. The environmental community has been fighting the idea that electric vehicles should have to be taxed by the mile, but we do have a road user charge that's going to come into existence for electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids over the next 5 to 7 years. And so that is part of this package, and it's important because you're right, they use the roads. And they haven't been contributing. We have increased their registration fees a bit, but it doesn't compensate for the lost revenue from fuel taxes that they would have paid. And so we're trying to equalize that a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually stay very engaged in that part of the discussion because if you think about it, I'm actually trying to move us away from that system. And so at the end of the day, trucking's going to rely on diesel for years to come, and it's really important for us to be part of IFTA and be able to see who's traveling through our state. We don't have any way now to really check for compliance if somebody's evading the weight mile tax, and so we build those costs right into the rates that our compliant carriers have to pay.
Yeah.
ODOT thinks there's about 10% evasion, and so they add
10%. Yeah. If you can't get it from Peter, get it from Paul, right?
Yeah. Exactly, yes.
Jana, we do this rapid fire, rapid pace. Promise us you'll come back as these stories develop. We really appreciate you making your time, especially, by the way, as somebody who spends a lot of his time in California, for waking up at the crack of doom and actually being coherent. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, thank you, Jana. Jana Jarvis, everybody.
You can find these stories, by the way, on the Oregonian, Willamette Week, the Salem Statesman Journal. A lot of stuff in the Pacific Northwest is carrying this. Go to ortrucking.org to find out more about this as Nemo Nation continues.